Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to our Remembrance Day Assembly. Now, normally we'd be doing this in person, but obviously, even in school today, we're not doing this in person. I'm going to do it live via Zoom, but we didn't want you to miss out. So the first thing is, what is Remembrance Day? Well, rather than me sit here and tell you, I'm going to play you a short film which should remind you, most of you will know, but it's a little reminder of what Remembrance Day is. So just bear with me because I've just got to set it up on my screen.
Remembrance Day. It's a very special day. It's Remembrance Day. Every year, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, people all around the world stop what they're doing to be silent for 2 minutes, to remember all those whose lives have been affected by conflict and war, and in particular, those who have died. The first Remembrance Day was held on the 11th of November 1919 to honour the lives of the soldiers, sailors and airmen who died fighting in the First World War. Today, over 100 years later, Remembrance Day is about all people whose lives have been affected by war and conflict, including wars since the First World War. Remembrance Sunday is held on the second Sunday of November every year. Ceremonies are held all over the country to honour servicemen and women and the sacrifices they have made. The biggest ceremony takes place in London at the Cenotaph. There are parades, and members of the armed forces are joined by veterans and civilians, young and old, who have come to show their respect. And people also lay wreaths made from poppies. The wreaths can include messages expressing gratitude for the service people have given. Remembrance Day is a day about respect, reflection and peace. And that's important for lots of people, young and old.
It's a day to remember all the sacrifices people have made.
Respect the ones who fought for your freedom and died for you.
You'll see lots of poppies on Remembrance Day. That's because after the First World War ended, poppies were one of the only flowers that grew on the battlefields after the fighting had stopped. So they became a symbol of remembrance and hope for a peaceful future. Today, people wear poppies in November to remember the sacrifice of past generations and also to show support for men and women in the armed forces. And the poppies people wear also help others. Volunteers like Bill sell them for donations, and the money goes towards helping war veterans who are in need. But wearing poppies and holding ceremonies aren't the only ways we can show respect. This school was bombed in World War I. So today, the pupils honour the memory of those who died here by celebrating peace. They make special posters and drawings, write poems.
I dream of a world of peace where people can live a life of ease. A world where there is no difference between rich and poor.
And reflect on what peace means to them. Remembrance Day is an important event in our country. And for lots of young people, it's important to remember the sacrifices that people have made to protect our freedom. Kira's great-great-granddad died fighting in World War I over 100 years ago.
It's incredible how many people sacrifice their life for us. It's honestly amazing, and I don't know how to thank them. But at the same time, he would have been thinking about me and my future, and I just want to honour him and remember him.
On Remembrance Day, we remember the sacrifices of others. But remembrance isn't just about the past. It's also about learning from history so that we can continue to live in peace in the future.
I think there's some really lovely ideas there as well, that maybe during today you could do a poem or a picture about what peace means to you, and then you could then share that with your teachers or with me. I'd happily have a look at some of your lovely work. But I thought that was just a really nice little clip just to remind you about Remembrance Day. So what about Remembrance Day in England, or in Earlham even? We have something that you might recognise. You might have passed it when you've been in the park. You might have even visited it with school or with brownies or cubs or guides or your football team. You may even have gone on Remembrance Sunday and put a poppy there yourself. Now, this memorial was built in 1949, which was just after World War II. But it didn't always look like that. We'll come on to that in a minute. The other way that we remember in Earlham and Cadishead is you will have noticed there are poppies on the lampposts. Now, people can pay £5 to dedicate one of those poppies to a family member or somebody that they knew, or a group of people who fought in any of the wars. So we do lots in Earlham and Cadishead. But as I said, the memorial that we see today didn't always look like that. So let's have a look how it used to look. So this was the memorial when it was first built in 1923, and it was designed by John Cassidy. But after World War II, it was felt that there wasn't enough room for the names of the people who died in World War II. And it was also felt that that big stone at the bottom was too tempting for children to climb. I'm sure some of you, if you were around then, would have climbed up it, but it was becoming quite dangerous. So they decided to get rid of the stone and put in the new memorial that we see today. But you will notice that one thing didn't change, and that's the winged Victory bronze statue that's on the top. So they took that off, they put it somewhere safe, they built the new memorial, and they put it back where it proudly still stands today. It's had a lick of paint in the last couple of years, so it's brighter than it was, but still just as beautiful, just as powerful, and just as special to help us remember. Now, as with everything, this year's slightly different. We can still have remembrance services and events, but there has to be social distancing. And the Prime Minister's spokesman said it's important that the country can continue to come together to remember the sacrifice of those who've died in the service of their country. And we will ensure that Remembrance Sunday is appropriately commemorated while protecting public health. So making sure we're all staying safe. On Sunday, there was a small ceremony at the cenotaph, and people are being encouraged to watch it at home rather than to go. Now this year, the people who are selling poppies aren't out as much. So you can do all sorts of things. You could do a colouring picture of a poppy, you could make a collage. Some people are wearing a digital poppy on their social media, and you can donate to a poppy, the Poppy Appeal. And obviously, whilst you were in school, the poppy things were on sale. So there's still lots of ways that even though this year's different, we can still support the Poppy Appeal. And the other big way that everybody commemorates or remembers or celebrates Remembrance Day is with a 2-minute silence at 11 o'clock, because that's when the war ended, and 11 o'clock on the 11th. And it's a really special time. So we're going to do a 2-minute silence now. If you want to close your eyes, you can. The silence will begin with the last post playing, and you might recognise the last post, you might have heard it before. And then at the end, there's another piece of music called, not sure, the Reveille. And once that plays, that's when the 2-minute silence ends. So if you want to close your eyes, and our 2-minute silence will begin with the last post. Okay, so that was the end of our 2-minute silence. And it feels a long time, but it's not very much, is it, to sacrifice of our time to say thank you to those people for our freedom. So yeah, right, so here too, you've got the work that's on the website to be doing today. You've also now, if you want to, got the opportunity to write a peace poem, or do some work about what you think peace means to you. You could find out more about the Earlham and Cadishead War Memorial. But please share that work with your teachers. The email addresses are on the website, or you can share it with me. I'd love to see it. We know it's not easy, you're having to stay at home, and we would much rather have you in school. We're missing you loads, but please do what your mums and dads and those people who look after you at home ask you to do. Keep up with the reading and the numbots and the timetable rock stars and all the work that's on the website, so that when you come back on Friday the 20th, you're ready to go, and we can't wait to have you back. So take care, mums and dads and whoever's at home. If you want to get in touch, please feel free to email or phone school about anything that we can help with. Look after yourselves, take care, and as I said, we'll see you on the 20th.